even be within the settlement, and they were comfortable with that. New knowledge, what I think has been an addition to the status quo, the pathway trajectory of female households is fluid and occasionally path leakages. It's not clear cut that someone comes from village, has to make a combination of the house, has to rent, has to own the house. Some of it might overlaps. The clear-cut trajectory has been observed in the Chinese cities by one, USA by Ardhi, and even Salaam. However, in the rest of the decades, regarding when you're dealing with the households. Number two, female heads of households possess unique and autonomous housing opportunities and preferences based on the unique categories of segmented. For example, the young use less of the physical networks, and yet they use their own way, the logical ones and that kind of thing. The literature which is present right now, the location decisions, they target so much on commuting. Someone's comfort to commute in the city center. And also, they take the household unsegregated. And when you're dealing with the patriarchal system like ours here in Sub-Saharan Africa, you end up getting the voice of the man. And you disappear into that. Over-reliance on networks affected their independent decisions. That was another aspect that I understood. And it builds on the patriarchal system by Kabalam. And also, it is another way of understanding the natural and social affiliation attributes of women by being social and depending on others. You realize that they don't open their mind to make that decision without consulting the hosts, the class. And finally, on the new knowledge, the social capital in the form of others, depending on the demographics. Implications of policy, policy framework is directed. You cannot get particular segments from the policy that is relevant to these segmented women that are discussed here. There is a lot of diversity among them that need that segmentation for proper policy implementation. Number two, there needs to be an understanding of how gender roles are known in the social networks, which are directly there in influence participation in the property market. And the settlement patterns. Once this is understood, the planners of housing will be guided on the fit for purpose provision. And finally, the existing policy mechanisms and strategies and the entire management system, they target those with stable and predictable income stream. The initiatives which you see are targeted towards someone's income stream. They suggest getting a suggestion from the bank and that kind of thing. It is not responsive to the diversity that characterizes many female heads of households. The vulnerability and diversity is a need to secure housing to the focus for policy direction. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, this test required me to publish 3 papers. I was able to publish, since initially I was not sure when the review that they published, wrote some bit of more than what I was required. One was on policy discussion of the vulnerable households in Sub-Saharan Africa, where I highlighted the weaknesses of this policy, the failure to segment these women, and therefore build this directive. It was a build-up of my future review. And then empirically, I discussed the property market. These two papers were in the same journal, the National Journal of Social Science and Review. This second paper discussed the network of the informal market, how these women interact with other actors to access the housing. So it mainly focused on the variable of the market drivers. Paper number 3, which was published in Habitat International in the peripheral president of Mozilla, I was discussing the social networks. Their preferences and how they use the local social networks to access the housing, both for renting and also some of the blocks. They were offered blocks on discount by the family connections. So that was empirical. And another empirical one from chapter 6, that is Katway. There I focused on the housing pathways of these women, tracking from the time they become heads of households or when they become city dwellers from the village. Every step of their journey, they will tell me their experiences and how they use the social capital network to access the housing. Especially, most of them were accessing housing either on offer, renting, and just very few, 1 or 2, 3, were able to buy blocks, but were outside the settlement. They bought from outside the settlement, but they were used for giving me the data. The fifth paper has just been accepted last month. It was a theoretical paper which I reviewed. We haven't yet published it, but I was discussing trying to understand what makes digesting how gender household makes determine housing location choices. How unique these preferences of the women make them get what they want that is different from men. So that is what I've been discussing in this last theoretical discussion. I thank you.